Hello and welcome back to another of my YouTube videos. Today I'm sitting in my W126 here, but no, it's not a video about this car. It's actually a video about the monowiper. Let me see this monowiper. I decided I was going to try and do a more in-depth video of the monowiper. In case you're wondering what the monowiper is, I have one here, which is in prime, and this will be. I don't think I showed you anything. It needs a bit more work. It's nowhere near finished. And this will be the replacement wiper for my 190. This is a later model, but it needs quite a bit more work and a repaint. It's been stored for a while, and it's now got all scratched and damaged, so I need a bit of a repaint on this one. But here's a monowiper. See, it's a lovely little mechanism here. And basically that by this little mechanism here, the cog, it turns and kicks the wiper out. So basically, when this spindle here in the middle, and find a way to hold it and damage anything. This little spindle here, it sits on the shaft, and after you've got the little cogs here, where it sits down and clamps on it, and when it spins, it turns this cog, and it effectively kicks this arm out. And what that basically does, it kicks it out into the corner of the screen. So you've got a screen here, and the wiper comes here. When the wiper turns, so it's in the middle, motor's turning it, it comes round, and now it turns into the top corner of the screen, gets to the top, and it comes down again. And again it goes round, kicks out again, into the corner of the screen, comes down. And again, comes back, does it over and over again, down, into the corner, and back flat. Now, it does that so it can reach into the far corners of the screen and come down to give you maximum visibility. But they did that to effectively get as much coverage of the screen as possible. I can't remember, it's either 86% or 96%, but I'll see if I can find that information and put it in the top. But obviously, it covered so much of the screen, which is great. It is the world's most over-engineered wiper in history, especially monowiper. I mean, if you look at all other cars which had a monowiper, it's usually just an arm in the middle, and it went back and forth like a traditional wiper. It didn't kick out. It just extended a little wiper arm, and it's gone. When the 190 was first ready, obviously, when you see the Mercedes 190, the car it was designed for originally and came out on, traditionally you always see that style of monowiper on the 190, but originally the Mercedes 190 didn't come with that type of monowiper. Originally it came with a just a standard wiper, and it went back and forth, you know, it didn't kick out at all. And that wiper originally had two blades on it. It had one big blade and then a little blade to get right in the bottom of the screen. Now I have owned a bit before a 1981 or 82 Mercedes 190, and a very original one. I'll overlay a picture for you. And now it's fully loaded and had absolutely every single option, but it's a bit too much of a project at the time for me. But if I had it now, obviously it'd be a different story, but at the time it's just too much, and I had to kill it. Again, that had a single monowiper, a single arm monowiper on it. They didn't do anything special like this monowiper does. So in the 80s, Mercedes was really keen on coming up with fresh ideas and being inventive, and the monowiper was one of them things. And they really did well with inventing the monowiper, and it's actually great. Not even great, just a great looking wiper, but it's also a really well engineered wiper. I mean, you take into account, like, most cars nowadays, when they have a monowiper, it will just be a traditional arm, back and forth, up and down, or a pantograph style wiper with the two arms moving one blade. And while that's all cool, you know, nice, but no other manufacturer made such a nice wiper lead. Now, as you see in the title, I'll get to that car in a minute. This wiper was used on quite a lot of cars in its lifetime. Obviously, the most popular car it was used on was obviously the 190E, the car it was made for. And then later coming on to the W124. chassis, or C124 depending on what one you had. But yeah, the W124 chassis, or the 124 I should say, later received this wiper. And yeah, it's pretty much the same wiper, maybe a bit longer on the arm itself to reach off the more of the screen. It's a slightly wider car, not too much, but yeah, so it might add a bit different arm, and obviously the mechanism underneath the screen was a bit different, but again, the actual wiper part of the arm was exactly the same near enough inside. There was obviously still a few more cars that got used on as well. So also the R129 has this wiper on it as well. So if you can Google or YouTube images or YouTube videos of it, the wiper on, and you'll see them on there. Obviously I don't have a R129, so I can't show you it on there, unfortunately. But yeah, so the R129 also used that wiper mechanism. And then the W140. Now, while it strictly doesn't have a monowiper, as it has two wiper arms, so it's not a strict monowiper car. One of the wiper blades, one of the wiper mechanisms on it, I should say, is actually a sort of monowiper mechanism like this one. It's slightly different shape. They've made the actual base a lot smaller, and they changed it quite a bit, but the basics of the monowiper are still there. It comes out and kicks out into the corner and comes down. It doesn't travel the whole screen anymore, as it's got two wiper blades on the car. So it doesn't need to have the monowiper to go all the way around. But it does still have the same action on there, and one in the middle normally. I don't know why they put the monowiper and then just a standard one on the other side. Obviously probably a bit too wide for the car, for the monowiper to handle. But yeah, so the 1240, well, technically not a true monowiper car, it does have the monowiper mechanism origin here, so you know it's sort of getting there. And obviously the last two modern cars from Mercedes, modern or latest cars, should you say, from Mercedes to use this magnificent wiper are the W02 and W210. On the W211, they then got rid of it, but it's a shame because that monowiper is a fantastic piece of engineering, very over engineered, just to wipe a screen, but it does the job perfectly, really well. Now you'd be looking at the title and thinking, why have you mentioned Koenigsegg in the title? Well, that's because when Koenigsegg first started producing cars in the 90s, I think 95 possibly, somewhere around that region, they started using the Mercedes monowiper. And pretty much in its same form, and you see on any Koenigsegg, if you type in 1995 Koenigsegg, you see that wiper on the car, and they obviously paid Mercedes to use them. Now, the interesting thing is about Koenigsegg is that roughly 40 years later, now the interesting thing about Koenigsegg, I'll hold the wiper again so you can see it, is this wiper, this mechanism is about, guess on for 40 years old, this mechanism. And Koenigsegg still use this exact same mechanism on their cars today. If you go on the website, they got a heritage history on the cars on there, and it shows you the first Koenigsegg using this, but rather than park it in the middle of the screen like they do now, they park it like that on the side. But pretty much copying every Mercedes 190 DTM car when they had it parked in the middle. But that's what Koenigsegg do as well. But yeah, if you go on the website, even the brand new models still use this exact same mechanism. Which just goes to show how good it really is if Koenigsegg still use it. And they'd be right to use it. It's a brilliant piece of engineering. However, I did measure Koenigsegg, trying to get a bit of more interest in this video, and asked if they could send on a temporary basis one of these so I could take it apart and see if it's any different or any lighter. Oh, excuse me. But unfortunately they declined, which obviously no problem. They've got every right to do that, but it would have been nice to be able to compare the two wipers together and see if there's much of a difference. And to see if there's any difference in the materials, because I doubt they still make it out of the same metal. I'd imagine it would probably be carbon fibre. Or something similar like that, or much lighter at least. And I wonder I wonder if they have the plans to make it themselves, or Mercedes still make it for them. I presume they make it themselves now, because Mercedes wouldn't really want to continue making parts and sold, I've not thought. I mean, you never know, but no, she's a really good piece of engineering, this, I believe. It's so smooth as well, especially the later ones, like this one. Obviously this is a 90s model, and it's just a much better wiper. Basically, like quite a large range of cars that actually use this Mercedes, and why they stop, I have no idea. Yeah, but if you're surprised to find out, for me personally, that Koenigsegg still use this exact wiper mechanism in their cars. One day maybe, when I get my hands on one, I should do a comparison video between them both, and see if there's much weight difference between them, because I can't imagine that they still use the same heavy metal that they've been using from the 80s in this. Obviously being a light sports car or supercar, and I imagine they'd want it as light as possible, and that is quite heavy, so I can't imagine they'd probably use the same. I'd imagine it's got to be carbon fibre or something very light. But I mean, if you found that interesting, I mean, you can, like I said, you can check out their website and see that they still use them. But so if you enjoyed watching this video and learning a bit more about the monowiper, again, if you want to see inside the monowiper, I do have a different video on my channel showing you inside the monowiper, so I'm not going to do that in this video, like I've done that before. And you can easily look on my channel for the monowiper and see a video of me comparing a really old monowiper from I think 1987 or 85 car guy to a modern one. I think it may possibly even been this unit I showed you inside off. But basically, you can go and check on that video, see inside the units and see how they changed over the years, and why if you need to change your monowiper or your motor for your monowiper, you're probably best to change this as well. Again, you watch that video, all the reasons why you should do that are in that video. But eventually that one will end up on my 190 once you had more work done to it, more paint and everything else. But yeah, so, like the monowiper is such an interesting piece of engineering, and it's a shame it's not used anymore. But I think for this video, really, that is going to be it. There's not really too much more I can say about the monowiper. Obviously, I've told you what cars use it, and what cars you can kind of get away with saying use it, like the W140. They kind of get borderline. So they still got the mechanism on it, so that counts. If you found it already, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. And if you like and subscribe, it really does help to see this channel to grow. And I hope you learned a bit more about the monowiper if you didn't know a bit more about it, but hopefully you do now. So once again, it's been on a drive, and I'll see you in my next video.